Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dhwani Karya and I will be your moderator for this eventful morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really pleased to have you join us this morning to celebrate this joyous and significant milestone to commemorate the listing ceremony of Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust PG InvIT units on the BSE. Ladies and gentlemen, milestones are an important way of looking at the past with gratitude, the present with appreciation, and the future with a lot of hope. PG InvIT is set up to own, construct, operate, maintain, and invest as an infrastructure investment trust, including in-power transmission assets in India. PG InvIT sponsor Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, also acting in the capacity of project manager, is a Maharatna CPSE under the Ministry of Power, Government of India, and is a constituent of NSE 50, BSE Sensex, and other benchmark and ESG indices. Ladies and gentlemen, the trust has started its journey by acquiring 5 projects with a total network of 11 power transmission lines of approximately 3,699 circuit kilometers and 3 substations having 6,630 MVA of aggregate transformation capacity as of 31st December 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the InvIT believes that they are well positioned to take advantage of the growth potential of India's power transmission industry, given strong financial position, support from sponsor, and the robust regulatory framework. Today, on this momentous occasion, we would like to welcome the various dignitaries who have joined us today. To begin with, we would like to welcome our host for today, MD and CEO, BSE, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan. We have amongst us some very important and special dignitaries. I'm very happy to introduce to you Srimati Seema Gupta, Chairman, Power Grid Uchahar Transmission Limited, Investment Manager to PG InvIT and Director Operations, Power Grid. We have here with us Shri M. Taj Mukarram, Director, Finance, Power Grid. Joining us here today, we have Shri M. N. Venkatesan, Independent Director, Power Grid Uchahar Transmission Limited. We have here with us Shri Sunil Kumar Sharma, Independent Director, Power Grid Uchahar Transmission Limited. And we also have here with us Shri A.K. Singhal, Director, Power Grid Uchahar Transmission Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to extend a very warm welcome to the book running lead managers who also played an integral part in the success of this InvIT. We have here with us Mr. Sandeep Maheshwari, Vice President, Equity Capital Markets, Edelweiss Financial Services Limited. Mr. Ashish Kumbat, Executive Director, Axis Capital Limited. Mr. Mahesh Natarajan, Senior Vice President and Co-Head, ECM Syndication, ICICI Securities Limited. And Mr. Ranveer Dowda, Director and Head, Equity Capital Markets, India, HSBC Securities and Capital Markets, India Private Limited. We would also like to welcome our colleagues from Power Grid family, our investors, the media, and all you wonderful viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now commence this listing ceremony event by lighting the auspicious ceremonial lamp.
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampada. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhana sampada. Shatru buddhi vinashaya दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम्
Ladies and gentlemen, with this lamp lighting, we hope that our prayers reach the Almighty and the fire within us to be the best, to be a winner, and to succeed always also burns very bright. Without further ado, I would now like to invite Mr. Sandeep Maheshwari, Vice President, Equity Capital Markets, Edelweiss Financial Services Limited, to initiate the proceedings. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thanks, Swani. Ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant morning to all of you and a warm welcome to this momentous occasion. On behalf of Power Grid, the investment manager and the lead managers, it is my privilege to welcome you all today to the listing ceremony of the largest InvIT till date. As you all are aware, this is India's first InvIT sponsored by a PSU, Power Grid, which is India's largest electric power transmission utility. Not only does this open alternatives for other PSU entities who were planning for the same, but also this would widen the overall market for the InvITs in future. In our opinion, the InvITs has had all the key ingredients for a yield-seeking investor. Ability to produce stable and predictable cash flows, as this is into transmission assets where the tariffs are fixed over a long period. No development risk, as the initial portfolio assets are fully operational. Strong corporate governance and extremely high sponsor credibility. The issue saw strong participation from varied set of investors, including marquee long-only FIIs, global and domestic pension funds, insurance companies, leading domestic mutual funds, and alternate investment funds. A big thank you to all the investors who have supported us. We at Edelweiss are privileged to have been associated with Power Grid InvIT and would like to thank the management team for giving us the opportunity to lead the issue. It's been an extraordinary journey for all of us. We are confident that Power Grid InvIT will achieve huge success and growth as demonstrated by its great sponsor. Last but not the least, a successful IPO is the reward of efforts put in by various parties and would not have been possible without the support of the regulators, the exchanges, and all the intermediaries involved. A big thank you to you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now call upon Mr. Ashish Kumbhat, Executive Director, Axis Capital Limited, to address the August gathering. Well, welcome to you, sir.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Power Grid, a name synonymous with investors across the globe, has successfully closed the largest public InvIT IPO in the country, and we at Axis Capital feel extremely privileged and honored to be associated with this marquee transaction. As you all know, this was the first InvIT by any PSU in the country, and it can't get better than coming from the house of PGCIL. With the second wave of COVID-19 hitting us even harder than the first one, and the serious damage that it has caused to the country has not deterred the investors' conviction in PGCIL. The high-quality anchor book is testimony to the conviction that the investors continue to have in Power Grid, which will continue with this investment trust as well. We at Axis Capital take immense pride in leading this historic InvIT IPO, the only one by any PSU in the country. Anchor investors of this IPO included several wealth funds, including some of the largest global pension funds, marquee long-only FII, domestic institutional investors, including leading mutual funds, AIFs, insurance companies, pension funds, and key HNIs. The response we received in such volatile markets and times would not have been possible without the tireless effort put in by the management team, especially Chairman Sir Mr. K. Srikanth, Director Finance Sir Taj Sir, Purushottam Sir, and Sanjay Sir for not only continuing to run the business at top gear, but also meeting over 150 plus investors during their roadshows and highlighting to them the key aspects of this resilient business model. The successful listing of the units of Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust not only builds a solid foundation for other companies in the similar space to pursue this route, but also marks the beginning of a new phase of strong growth in all aspects of investment trust. It's our sincere belief that the investment trust will actively capture more growth opportunities, strengthen its competitiveness, and strive to bring higher and sustainable returns to all its unit holders, just how its sponsors has for its shareholders in the past and since listing. As we begin our listing journey today, I would once again like to congratulate the entire Power Grid team and all the other teams working on this deal in making this a huge success, and all the best to all, as this is just a beginning. Thank you so much, Power Grid team, for making us handle this IPO. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite Srimati Seema Gupta, Chairman, Power Grid Uchahar Transmission Limited, Investment Manager to PG InvIT and Director Operations, Power Grid, to say a few words on this momentous occasion. Well, welcome to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Dhwani. A good morning and a very warm welcome to all. The listing of PG InvIT is yet another landmark event in the history of Power Grid. We are delighted to be the first CPSU or any Government of India entity to set up an InvIT. This is aligned to the asset monetization program of Government of India and hopefully would be precursor for many more such initiatives from other CPSUs. Power Grid, a Maharatna CPSC and the world's third largest transmission utility, is a sponsor as well as project manager of PG InvIT. PG InvIT starts with an initial portfolio of transmission assets under commercial operation with predictable cash flows and a track record of high operational availability. Given the strong pipeline of projects available with the sponsor Power Grid and the emphasis of Government of India for resource mobilization through asset monetization, we believe there is a significant growth potential for the PG InvIT. The PG InvIT offering provides one more avenue for long-term investors to associate with Power Grid. We are humbled by the overwhelming response of the investor community to the PG InvIT IPO, which is the largest InvIT or REIT IPO till date and sort of reopened the public InvIT market. Over the years, various capital market offerings from Power Grid by way of equity, domestic bonds, or foreign currency bonds received strong investor support, and this time it is no different. As said by my previous speakers, the more than 4.5 times subscription in both institutional and non-institutional category is a testimony to the confidence in our company across diverse investor segments. It gives us immense pleasure to share that many large global and domestic investors who are existing shareholders of Power Grid have participated in this offering in a big way, in the anchor book and in the main book. And the management is grateful for their sustained confidence in Power Grid. We hold the faith reposed by the investors in Power Grid as a sacred trust and assure that as a sponsor and project manager, we are fully behind the PG InvIT for sustained value creation for the investors. I take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Ministry of Power, Ministry of Finance, SEBI, NSC, and BSC for their support in timely addressing various issues and providing required approvals to ensure launch of this transaction in April 21, despite the ongoing pandemic. I also thank the trustee IDBI Trusteeship Services. This transaction has been in the pipeline for some time. I would like to thank various intermediaries, our BRLMs, councils, auditors, RTA, and advertising agency who are part of this IPO for being with us and delivering a great outcome. Thank you and stay safe. Over to Dhwani.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for always inspiring us. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to invite our host for the day, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO, BSE, to say a few words, please. Warm welcome to you, sir.
Shri A.K. Singhal, Shri Sandeep Maheshwari, Shri Ashish Kumbhat, Shri Mahesh Natarajan, Shri Ranbir Davda. Friends, before I begin, to all those who are once again at the forefront on battling this health crisis, including doctors, nurses, officials from the Government of India, state governments, the local administration, police, and everyone else. Our words are few, but heartful. On this note, a good morning to everyone here as we celebrate the virtual InvIT listing of Power Grid Corporation of India, the country's largest power transmission company. The Power Grid Corporation, a Maharatna, is the largest in terms of transmission lines length, for 85% market share in India's cumulative interregional power transfer capacity. With today's successful listing, it will become the third InvIT to be listed on the BSE and the first InvIT to be floated by a public sector company. BSE has a long relationship with Power Grid Corporation since its listing on BSE in 2007. We are glad to host them once again and renew our relationship. Overall, the government as well as SEBI have been quite proactive when it comes to casting the InvIT route for investors. Recently, the budget proposed easing of InvITs and REITs guidelines, which has helped in getting InvITs attract fresh investments and make them accessible for investors who have a small appetite and yet want to invest in otherwise highly cost-intensive infrastructure market. With InvITs, they can take a small bite of the large Indian infra pie. Since the units of InvITs are listed on the stock exchanges, they also provide to investors in an otherwise largely class. The BSE platform aims to not only provide liquidity, but also bring efficiency and transparency in the price discovery mechanism of InvITs. BSE is India's leading and most diverse exchange, providing an efficient and transparent market for trading in a bouquet of products, including equities, debt, derivatives in equities, currencies, commodities, interest rates, distribution of mutual funds, insurance, stock lending, borrowing, REITs, and InvITs. The BSE platform enabled the fundraising of rupees 18.5 lakh crore, that is more than $253 billion worth of funds in financial year 21, including rupees 25,000 crore of InvITs. We are glad to flag off InvITs listing in financial year 22 today with listing of rupees 7,735 crore issue of Power Grid. The rupees 7,735 crore issue of Power Grid InvIT got a good response and received bids for 205.47 crore units against an offer size of 42.54 crore units. The issue was subscribed 4.83x times overall, including 4.63 in QIB category and 5.07 in the NII category. I congratulate the management of Power Grid Corporation, merchant bankers, Axis Capital, Edelweiss Financial Services, HSBC Securities and Capital Markets, ICICI Securities, everyone else involved with this issue for a successful listing. BSE looks forward to continuing being Power Grid Corporation's preferred fundraising partner as it expands its reach and grows in scale. We look forward to a long and fruitful relationship in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now call upon Mr. Mahesh Natarajan, Senior Vice President and Co-Head, ECM Syndication, ICICI Securities Limited, to say a few words. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Dhvani. Good morning to the dignitaries on the panel and this August gathering. On behalf of ICICI Securities, the left lead banker to the InvIT, I would like to thank Power Grid, Ministry of Power, for entrusting us with this responsibility of switching on the first InvIT by a CPSE along with this dedicated team. Over the past 18 months, we have navigated through multiple aspects of the transaction structure and framework for anchor investors that can hopefully be successfully replicated across CPSEs. We also had to deliver the grid with minimal loss of time due to certain challenges such as COVID-19. When we greenlighted this issue, investors gave an electrifying response across investor categories. Here is wishing all power to this InvIT in energizing the capital markets. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we all have been eagerly waiting for has finally arrived. The very, very historic moment when Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust will see itself listed on the stock exchanges of India. We are just 20 seconds to the listing, and now for the customary countdown. Many, many congratulations. Wow. Many congratulations, heartiest congratulations. Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust is now officially listed on the stock exchanges. Wow, this is such a momentous occasion for all of us, really. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Ranveer Davda, Director and Head, Equity Capital Markets India, HSBC Securities and Capital Markets India Private Limited, to say a few words.
Thank you, Dhwani. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And firstly, a hearty congratulations to all of us here and to the Power Grid management for an extremely solid listing that we have seen. Clearly a testament to all the strong investor response that the issue received. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Power, the Ministry of Finance, the Power Grid management, led by Mr. Shrikant, Mr. Taj, Mr. Purushottam, Mr. Sanjay ji, who have guided us through the last 18 months and trusted each of the bankers with this very prestigious assignment. One that we at HSBC, and I'm sure each of my partner BRLMs, are extremely proud of. I clearly believe that Power Grid InvIT IPO came with its own destiny, came with its own unique equity story, which the investors have so strongly resonated with. It had many firsts. The first PSU InvIT, one of the largest capital market offerings in the last 12 months. And as one of my colleagues pointed out, a unique public sector InvIT with this anchor framework, which we believe is going to stand testament to various follow-on issuances that will come. I think the management played a key role, led by Mr. Shrikant, in conducting these significant investor meetings during this challenging period to ensure an extremely solid response. They say the post-listing journey of a company is an entirely new phase and a birth of a new child. I would take this opportunity to wish all the very best to the Power Grid management, the InvIT management, and I'm sure that this InvIT is going to create significant long-term shareholder value for all the participants. We request and urge you for your support and hope that this InvIT is going to provide an impetus for many public sector and non-public sector issuers going forward. Thank you, Power Grid team, and wishing you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now call upon Shri M. Taj Mukarram, Director of Finance, Power Grid, for his concluding address. Welcome to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning to all. Thank you, Dhwani, and Eid Mubarak to all of you. Thanks to all the previous speakers for highlighting the importance of the day and going through the details of the transaction. Through the listing of this InvIT, we have achieved a bigger milestone in the spectacular journey of our company, Power Grid. It is indeed a memorable day for all of us at Power Grid. Through this InvIT vehicle, Power Grid Group has now presented one more investment avenue to long-term stability-seeking investors. PG InvIT has a very strong pedigree of a world-class company, that is Power Grid. The lineage and continued support of Power Grid as the sponsor and project manager for the life of this PG InvIT would continue to assist PG InvIT as it inspires to achieve a focused business model with productive and operational efficiencies, capitalize on the value accretive growth, and optimize transaction assets through efficient capital structure. First, I would like to express my thanks to the investors who have participated in the PG InvIT in large numbers, exhibiting their continued trust and confidence in Power Grid Group. On this landmark day, I would also like to express my thanks and gratitude to Ministry of Power, Ministry of Finance, SEBI for their support, guidance, and timely approvals during the entire process. I would also like to thank our trustee, IDBA Trustee Services, and the intermediaries, the BRLMs, legal counsels, valuer, technical consultant, auditors, registrar, and the ad agency for being with us along this journey and finally ensuring a successful transaction. I believe the entire process was a great example of collective and mutual learning for all involved in the transaction. I would also like to thank our stock exchanges for their guidance and providing approvals in the most timely manner. While we would have loved to be there in person for this landmark celebration, I would like to thank BSc for organizing it through a virtual event and helping us create memories to cherish. I would like to thank Board of Directors of Power Grid, led by CMD Sri K. Srikanth, the driving force behind this landmark transaction, who always encouraged and mentored the team throughout the journey. I would like also thank entire team of Power Grid spread across the country for providing all the necessary inputs required for the documentation related to this transaction in spite of the pandemic. I would like to express my thanks to the Board of Directors of Power Grid and Power Grid Unchaha Transmission Limited for always encouraging us their advice on various matters. Lastly, I would not be doing justice if I do not mention my young colleagues at the investment manager PUTL, who had been working tirelessly and with dedication for the past many months to ensure great outcome. Thank you all. All the best to the team PUTL as it embarks on a new journey. Thank you and Eid Mubarak.
Thank you so much, sir, for those concluding remarks. Once again, hearty congratulations to Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust, which is now officially listed on the stock exchanges of India. We're also grateful to our host, BSE, the book running lead managers to the issue, our members of the board, BRLMs, our family and friends, well-wishers, our shareholders, and all you wonderful viewers who took out your precious time to celebrate this momentous occasion with us. Thank you all for being with us this morning. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.